Yo, I always start with a great warm up, and what I mean by a great warm up is I do a lot of light reps to force as much blood into the muscles and around the joints as possible. So when I'm doing those side lateral raises, I'll do up to 100, minimum 50 reps up to 100. Then I'll do some band reverse flies and some mobility work. And then after that, I usually do some presses. Sometimes I'll even do overhead presses with just my arms, and I'll do 50 reps like that. But yeah, I start with a lightweight. At least this training session, I'm starting with a lighter weight, and then I'm going to just pyramid up. And hey, I'm putting these training sessions up for you all to try them out and let me know what you think about them. This isn't the only way that I train my shoulders or my delts. I change it up every once in a while, just a little bit. And this particular training session, I'm focusing on strength, solely on strength, not endurance, not anything else, just strength. Although this training session, I'm not feeling as strong as I normally feel. When I'm feeling strong, that's when I'll start heavy. Like I'll do a warm up set and I won't pyramid up. I'll just start heavy. I'll start with like the 60-pound dumbbells, then do 65s and 70s. I usually stop at 70s because I haven't been able to get any more than 6 reps with 70-pound dumbbells with the overhead press. But yeah, on the days that I feel my strongest, that's when I start heavy. If I'm not feeling my strongest, then I'll just pyramid up. And I do that to be safe. I don't want to put myself at risk for injury. Uh, I'm not prone to injury. I'm not injury prone at all, but I just don't take unnecessary risk. I listen to my body, and I still manage to push myself beyond my limits while being safe. So I'll end up doing 12 sets of just overhead presses. And my logic behind doing 12 sets of one exercise is solely because I don't do any other deltoid work in this training session besides overhead presses. So now I'm going to head over to the cable pulley for overhead presses on the cable machine. I like the cable pulleys because it's like someone is pulling back, So as I overhead press, it's like someone's pulling the weight back down, So that's a nice variation, in my opinion, and for me, just to have that additional resistance besides only free weights. Free weights are number one, You want that iron for sure, but having the cable pulleys are great too, or is great too. I don't really work with the machines at all. Maybe, I'm not even going to say 5% of the time. I hardly ever work with machines because of the fixed pattern. I don't even use the Smith machine. Only free weights. I'll always be that way until I pass away. I just don't have a purpose for me personally to use a fixed pattern, which will be a machine. If I were bodybuilding, if I were injured or coming back from injury, then yeah, maybe so. But no machines for me. So it might look as if I'm not locking out, but I'm locking out as best I can. I have a lot of scar tissue in my elbows from landing elbows on people's head and overthrowing punches when I was a lot younger. But I like the whole feeling of pressing up and that cable pulley's pulling back down. It's not just dead weight, you know. So yeah, I increased the weight a little bit, and my shoulders and triceps are a bit burned out from the 12 sets of free weight presses I did before I got to the cable pulley machine. Alright, so I did 4 sets there. That was more than enough. Gonna head and do some sit-ups. When I do my sit-ups, I use the Muhammad Ali's method of not really counting until I start to feel it. So what I usually do is I'll do 100 straight. This particular training session I stopped at like 80, but I'll post me just doing 100 straight sit-ups or me doing 100 straight leg raises in the future, just so it can I don't like to use the word motivation, but compel you all to push yourselves, you know. I'm big on being safe and preventing injury, but you still have to push yourself within those limits by pushing yourself past your limits, you know. Not way past your limits, but just enough so that you're uncomfortable, so that you aren't necessarily happy about what you're doing, but you still get it done as a man should. I'm very big on that. That is a big part of my daily philosophy in everyday life. Alright, so you can count if you want. I ended up having to stop because the face detection on the camera was freaking out a little bit because I wasn't moving up and down. I was moving kind of back and forth. So you can see the camera's kind of moving a little bit. It's almost like a twitch almost. So I ended up stopping, and that took me about, I don't know, 10-15 seconds to adjust it. But I got it adjusted and got right back to doing the sit-ups. Guess this isn't the best representation of my method of doing sit-ups because I stopped there, and whether it was an intentional break, it was a break. But the next, I don't know, 60, 55, 60 sit-ups I do, I feel them for sure. I feel them. But like I said, this week I'll get a video of me doing 100 straight. I really changed my philosophy on training. Train hard, but get the most out of your body without destroying it by doing long durated workouts. I mean, you know what I mean? Training sessions that last hours just isn't necessary to get the most out of your body to be elite level or world class level. I've learned that. Thank God I haven't suffered crazy injuries, while being a professional athlete, but I have experienced some, and it just taught me that I need to find a better method. So I have. One thing I can tell you is, I mean, there's other ways to build more dense abs. You know, if you want them to show and be thick or dense, not blotchy. I don't want you to get that confused, because blotchy is when people use, like, they hold like 45-pound plates on their chest and they do sit-ups. That's just gonna make your abs more blotchy. And what I mean by blotchy is you'll see some people with a big 4-pack or something like that, and you can't see the other 2 abs or the other four abs at all. That's because they've used too much weight or just too heavy of a weight. Now I'm going to do some overhead shoulder push-ups. My shoulders were a bit burned out. They are burned out, but doing the sit-ups gave my shoulders some rest. I do 2 to 4 sets of shoulder push-ups, and I just give it all I got on those. I bring my feet up as close to my hands as I can so that it kind of simulates a handstand push-up. I have done handstand push-ups against the wall. I haven't done any in a while. I haven't worked on my handstand in a while, but I will though. I'll get back to it. Just a lot going on right now. No excuses, but I gotta focus on business. So spending 3 hours at the gym for weight training and calisthenics session just out of the question right now. But hey, thanks for tuning in. God bless all of you. Peace.